Embedded in one of the most attractive landscapes in the German region of South Brandenburg lies the community of Heideblick. Called the Gate to the Lusatia region, this area looks back on a 1,000-year-old history. Visible over a long distance is the old Fieldstone Church, one of the most important historic monuments of the area. But also, the recent history has left its traces behind. Only a few hundred meters of a dense pine forest separate the idyllic village from a former military base. On a 170-acre site rose one of the largest solar parks in Germany. There is no doubt this is a giant project. The task was undertaken by enerparc. Walddrehna is a challenge for enerparc and the entire industry because it's exceptionally large with 50 megawatts on a 170-acre site. When I was in Walddrehna for the first time in summer 2011, I found nothing but ailing buildings. It required a vivid imagination to visualize building a solar park there. Prior to the reunification of Germany, a railway construction regiment was based here. At least 600 East German soldiers carried out rack maintenance work on the premises. Their task was to secure transport routes in case of war. When the base was closed after the reunification, facilities were abandoned. What remained were complete barracks, including all associated facilities and infrastructure. There was a heating plant, an officers' mess, as well as production and storage halls. Among other large apartment blocks, a hospital and a cinema needed to be removed. Really huge buildings were leveled to the ground. The whole premises had to be cleaned. All buildings were torn down. The subcontractor was familiar with the building structure of former East German military sites, but nevertheless, he was surprised by the massive use of reinforced concrete here. To give just one example, it took 6 weeks alone to completely remove the cinema because it was built of massive concrete walls, 2 meters thick and made from reinforced concrete. Several diggers worked simultaneously, and this caused him quite a headache.
Das Gebäude abzureißen, und das hat ihm doch sehr viele Kopfschmerzen bereitet.
Explosive ordnance also had to be disposed. Extensive efforts were made to recover dangerous waste like rusty munitions and several old bombs. Projects on military sites are granted a higher tariff according to Renewable Energies Act, EEG, at least until the end of this year. This is why these kinds of projects are yet more economically interesting for enerparc and other plant operators. And there's the fact that military areas are reasonably priced because often there's no alternative use, at least in comparison to commercial areas or other. But it was a long way from the former military plant to the industrial exploitation of the premises. Impossible for the community of Heideblick to tackle alone. After the reunification, our community tried to conceive a future project for the area. Of course, we planned to establish an industrial park here with several enterprises to create many jobs and to retain people in the region, which is a huge problem here. But we had to realize that we didn't manage to implement our plans. All things considered, we have found an acceptable solution. Enerparc took on planning, developing, and implementing the large solar power station. Many partnerships with other companies in the region had to be established. Until completion, however, a lot of obstacles had to be overcome. The development of a land use plan required the participation of numerous stakeholders, including the forestry industry and the Building Supervisory Authority. Such large and cost-intensive projects always raise public, administrative, and other kinds of resistance. But I have to say that no one protested against the project because all knew that it immensely upgraded the area. While the reinforcing concrete is crushed and removed here, in another place, a pile ramming machine sets the course to the future. And this 1,000 times. Steel Sigma profiles are rammed into the ground, the basis for the module frames. All in all, the aluminum substructure has a total length of more than 100 miles. Once the racking system is assembled and fixed to the ground with the ram steel piles, the modules can be mounted. More than 300 people work here in 2 shifts in order to optimally use the daylight. More than 200,000 modules are installed in just a few weeks. The large-scale solar power plant is connected to a medium voltage cable through the plant, then to the high voltage grid. The specific cable laying technology is time-saving and environmentally sound. With regards to its partners and suppliers, enerparc sets high quality and performance standards. Precisely coordinated logistics enable a real-time implementation. Each solar field is connected to a power transformer. Finally, the power is fed on high voltage into the 110 kilovolt grid of the utility. Within just 5 months, enerparc is building one of the largest solar parks in Germany, covering an area equivalent to 200 football fields. $90 million have been invested in the photovoltaic plant, producing around 55 gigawatt hours per year, enough for 15,000 households. Additionally, more than 300,000 tons of carbon dioxide are saved each year. A large solar project has just been connected to the grid. The community of Heideblick is satisfied. When cooperating with enerparc, the spoken word applies. It is only written down on paper afterwards. But we don't need to have a look at it again, because everyone sticks to his words. This applies to all parties, the construction manager, and the team in Hamburg. If all projects and investors were like this would be heaven. Also, after completion of the construction of the solar park, enerparc is in charge of the day-to-day operations of the solar plant. All projects, both during construction and operation, are managed from the European head office in Hamburg. The international team speaks the language of its clients. We are a small and powerful team of 50 people. But within the recent 24 months, we've connected more than 650 megawatt to the grid. This number alone proves that we are able to act dynamically on the market. The fast and flexible specialists stand for professional consulting and service. Their objective, environmentally friendly power supply to communities, is an objective set in the whole of Germany. Our company goals focus on being part of the change of the energy policy. This issue is quite controversial in Germany. We must react quickly and be flexible to embrace frequent legislative changes that we have to implement with the same speed at the planning level. Among other, this is the strength of enerparc. Using its competence and experience, enerparc also acts as a finance consultant for large-sized solar projects. Photovoltaic solar plants are considered to be a sustainable, secure, and attractive investment. At the beginning, enerparc worked as a general contractor, but then gradually also expanded its project development activities. We also act as an investor, and I believe that we are able to offer these 3 services to our customers. This means that our role may evolve with the project, and that we have well understood the view of the investor, our actual client. enerparc already implemented a significant number of large solar projects in Germany and in the whole of Europe, but also now in the United States and in India.